Can I be honest? Can I really, really be free? Can I actually be free to say what I want to say? Will it be received? Will it be received in the right way? Will they be patient enough to actually listen to me fully? Will they be patient enough to want to get to know what it is that I am saying, to get to the depth of it, to hear it all the way, to go on that journey with me? Or do I have to make it soundbitey? Does it have to be something that is reactive instantaneously? Do I have to be able to know the words and figure them out in such a beautiful, perfect way that people can resonate, that it punctures their skull and more so their heart? I no longer want to make rational arguments. I don't really want to appeal to people's morality and well, that's a weird word, isn't it? I don't want to appeal to their logic. I don't want to appeal to the cerebralness of it all. Not at all. Not at all. I want to pierce through to the core of them. I need to make people see how important their feelings are. That the feelings are the indicators that let a person know how true something is and how true something isn't. As long as your feelings are centered, as long as the compass is still pointing north, as long as the compass is still pointing north. I'll be honest, clearly my compass is not pointing north because if I was compassionate enough, I would be honest. If I was, it's weird how it's so linked to self preservation, right? Because the fear is a weird sort of rejection. It's a rejection due to misunderstanding as opposed to the other person just standing on the other side of the fence. I am, I would be thrilled to be rejected by people on the other side of the fence. I reject them, they reject me, it's fine. But to have people on my side of the fence reject me, interesting. Or maybe the people who really are on my side, the people who should be coming onto my side, are the people who would be willing to listen all the way through, right? They should be. Because I know that the people that I follow, I watch their videos all the way through. I know what they've got to tell me is something that is here to support me, to add value to my life, to unfurl another tendril that has been closed up in me, to peel off another layer of falsity and reveal a new truth, or help me get to a new layer of truth within me. I want to rebrand. I want to call myself No Bullshit Nandini. I'm starting another channel. This might be one of the videos on that channel. Or actually, this is more of a figuring it out alive video, isn't it? It's a process. I'm calling like figuring it out alive the process, and then the new one, which the name I'm not gonna reveal the name yet. That's gonna be the product. That's gonna be it's figured out now. It's there. But it's interesting. It's just you know, how we have to like divide, conquer, divide ourselves to make ourselves ingestible to the others. And part of it must also be because the moment we see anyone, the moment we hear any person's voice, we divide them, don't we? We judge them. We judge them instantaneously. We judge their background. We judge their lighting. We judge their hair. We judge their makeup, their lack of makeup, the headphones that they're using. We try to figure out what brand is that. Ooh, tears need to probably pour out sometime soon at this point. Patience. It's something that I have to work on myself. I'm very quick to judge. Figuring it out alive is here to serve me. It's pure self-indulgence. It's me figuring things out and putting it out there to see if anybody else resonates. It's I tried to serve people. I tried, but I didn't really. I wanted to serve people through figuring it out alive. But I always kept the focus on me because I was still so deeply into that journey of getting out, like if we can call it getting out of depression and anxiety and overthinking and my insomnia and my struggles with autoimmune diseases due to extremely, extremely high levels of stress. Me trying to manage and build a new self identity, well, actually, a new life. I tried very hard to build a new life without changing my self identity, and that was the biggest issue. I thought that I must hold on to, cling to. I didn't realize that I was able to let go. I didn't realize not only that I had the power to, but I didn't think it was like possible. I didn't think it was an option for me to let go of my past. I thought, oh no, the past makes me. It makes me who I am. So how can I let go of it? How can I not be a victim of my abusive? Oh my gosh, lots of emails these days, lots of prompts, lots of things taking my energy and my attention and my time. But coming back to it, the focus here. Everyone who is trying to build a new life without changing their identity it's just never going to be able to happen because this life that you have is perfectly, perfectly fit. It's snug. It's like this identity fits into this life's glove perfectly, but that shows you if you're uncomfortable with your reality, this identity of yours is fitting this reality perfectly. Really, really it is. All the luck that you have that much luck with this identity. All the opportunities you get or that you miss or that you forego or that you destroy, it's because of this identity. And if you're not comfortable with that, with this reality, and you haven't yet started to feel uncomfortable with the identity, then you know there's something much, much deeper than the identity. It's what I would call the soul, but I certainly don't mean it in a religious sense. It's more of like what people call the godliness inside you. It's the higher self. I like that language. I like that whole, the most elevated, the most liberated, the most you part of you. The part of you that knows your potential. It doesn't just see your potential. It doesn't just peek at it. It doesn't just hint at it. It knows the potential for you. It knows the potential for me. And that's the part that we keep betraying over and over and over by being tepid, by taking small actions and not actually going for that leap, by not stretching ourselves too far. Because what if we burn out? Or what if we spread ourselves too thin? What if we fail? What if we don't meet our own expectations? We are so afraid of disappointing that godliness inside us, that higher self spirit, that we're even willing to ignore it, to abandon it, to shut the doors on it, to silence it, to distract ourselves by all that we see, to to not even let ourselves focus on the breathing, on us just being. Because the moment we start to turn inward, they say turn inward, right? That's such esoteric BS. Turning inward is just actually just stopping the external. That's all it is. Because once you stop the external distractions, you'll see how frantically your mind starts to like do a dance of sorts. It's the kind of dance that a water droplet does on a searing hot pan, right? It trembles and it shakes and it moves about and it just flits all over the place. And it's like, oh, pay attention to this and that and that. Oh, and you forgot about this and you got to do that and you got to buy that. And you didn't clean this corner of your house. And look at that. You still haven't folded your clothes. Bro, that's still not turning within. That's that ego again. That's the you. That's the self-identity you that is trying so hard to keep itself alive because it's brought you here. This place is probably a bit better than the last place. And if it isn't better than the last place, or if this is perhaps your rock bottom, if indeed this is your rock bottom, I used to tell myself these words every time I hit rock bottom, and I didn't realize that was not the bottommost rock bottom. That's why I think that's why I'm laughing here. But the words that I used to tell myself at rock bottom were, the only way is up. The only way is up. The only way is up. There's a song by the Broken Social Scene. It's called Gonna Get Better. Um, the words aren't very clear in that song. I can't say I know every single lyric to that song, but there were a few weeks where I played it on full repeat as I tried to get my external life back together. I tried, and it worked. So I played that song on loop for days. I was like in a trance-like state. It was many, many months after my dad had died, many months afterwards, right? The house was a mess, like an absolute mess. I was an absolute mess. I had started to working, I'd started to make friends, and I was very good at masking. I was very, very good at being really chirpy and bubbly and actually just falling in love with some of the people I met whom I consider to be friends to this day, even if we don't talk very much, right? Um, so there was all that, and then I'd come home and everything was a wreck at home, and I saw myself as a wreck. I was like, oh, I had a good day, but this sucks. Life sucks. Life sucks. That's what I used to tell myself. And of course, because I told myself that, that's what I saw. And if that's what I saw, I couldn't change it because I kept telling myself the same things over and over. So you've got to start changing the narrative, right? You've got to tell yourself, okay, even if life sucks now, I can change it. Life doesn't suck for everyone. It doesn't have to suck for me. The only way now is up because I choose that. I choose to change my thoughts. I choose to change my words. I will now embody this energy of change upward. I'm going to feel up. I'm going to remind myself to take pleasure in every pleasure I have. The softness of my pillow, the comfort of the warmth in my bedsheet, the cool air around me, the joy of the food that I put to my lips, the texture of that, the taste, of course, as well. I will decide to take pleasure in that which I have now. And instead of avoiding pain, I'm going to chase fulfillment. I'm not going to chase it. That's a terrible word. I'm going to find life fulfilling. I'm going to make life just that teeny weeny bit better just by just taking one thing in this room that doesn't belong here and putting it away or throwing it away. Just that one thing, that one cup, that one extra mug I've got here. I think I can put it in the sink right now. That one pack of crisps, of chips, of cookies that's finished. I can put that in the bin right now. And just like that, I lighten that load, not just from my mind, But even from my visual space and my energetic space, I lighten the load just like that, right? So let me try to lighten the load of my fears at this moment. What is it that I fear? What is it that I fear? Not why do I fear? I figured that out already. I know why I'm fearful, but I want to know what I'm fearful of. I'm going to give you an example from exactly that time I was just describing, and so it must be a very significant time if I'm thinking about it so much right now. It's interesting because I haven't thought about it in a very long time, but back in that place where I played that song on repeat, it's called Gonna Get Better by the Suburban Social Scene. I forgot to tell you the line. The line in that song that really got me in that loop to improve my life was things are gonna get better because they can't get worse. And then she says, they're gonna get better. And then the way that she says it is so soothing. It's so like it puts you in this like lull, this it's a very ambient sort of track. If this video ever goes onto YouTube, it'll be there in the description. You can just click on it and listen to the song. I love it. I also love the parts that I don't understand. I love, love, love that song. I don't listen to it often. Obviously, it has a very particular purpose. Every song has such energy. And songs are actually a great way to create that motivation, create that energy, and distract the mind in a way that will make you productive. Because remember, the biggest folly is that it's all a mind game. It is all a mind game, but the mind game needs to then turn into a physical, let's take action right now game. Without action, it's delirium. Without action, I mean, that probably isn't even the right word, but I don't care. I'm just gonna talk. Without action, it's a delusion. That is the delusion. That is escapism, they say. Daydreaming is escapism if you don't take action to make those daydreams a reality. But how do you take action if you feel so fearful? Fear is the reason for the demotivation. Fear is usually at the crux of all procrastination. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being able to meet your own expectations. In this social media world, my goodness, there is no room for mediocrity, is there? We thought the most beautiful woman we'd ever see was Aishwarya Rai, and she still is. But man, there are a lot of other people out there who are doing phenomenal things. Like the cameras on our phones in the palm of our hands are so good. The apps that are free can change the color of anything. I'm sitting right in front of you right now with like just a ring light behind the camera. It is nighttime. There are no other lights in the room, which is why it has like, which is why I look so ghostly pale, right? I'm a brown person. I don't tend to look like this. I tend to look more like this color. That's at the bottom of my arms here, right? This is not very well equalized, but this is substance because this is me. You've got to like just own this feeling in your body. Like, this is me. My fingers work. My nails grow. This is me, man. This is me. Just like do this. Just do this to yourself, man. My hands are so precious to me. You know that? I don't know what I would do without these hands. I love my hands so much. I love my mouth for being able to talk. Despite my blocked nose, it talks. I love this microphone for being able to amplify my voice and send it to you. There's so many things to love. There's so many ways to feel good. There's so many ways to feel good. That is the God inside you. The God inside you wants to feel good. It just wants to feel good, man. Not in the druggy, give me my hit right now way. No. It's the drug called life. It's the drug of realness. Seeing a real smile on someone's face, seeing a genuine twinkle in the eye of a person whom you love and respect. That's not something that can ever, ever. There's nothing to quantify that. There's nothing to compare to that. That in itself is one of life's greatest bits of highs, fulfillment, joy, belonging resides in those eyes, right? It's like listening to a song that tells the story of your life for the first time, every detail of it, and you sit there weirdly shattered, but in a state of awe. It's a state of my reality is not hidden in just mine. There is somebody else who has experienced my reality or some parts of it. This is not something just to hide away and lock up forever. It's not something to endure. This person does that and does more. This person has lived like me and has become different. Get into the root of your fears and realize that the fears are expecting you to act and be perfect like a robot. The fears are full of lies and impossible to meet expectations. The fears are holding you back because there is uncertainty in becoming a new person. There is uncertainty because the world says we want authenticity. The world says we want you to be real, but it doesn't allow for your realness, does it? Every single individual in this world has told me, Nandini, you're so great, but it would be better if you. And then they suggest a change that they think would suit me better, a change that they think would help me find more success, a change that would make me just a little more digestible, a little more easier. A little more easier? Is that even English? A little easier to understand, to resonate with. But I don't believe the things that I'm saying are alien. The things that I'm saying are perhaps at a maybe a little deeper level than most people talk about in their day-to-day lives. But who here has not felt like they are censoring themselves? Who here has not felt like they were made to think that they were unacceptable in some way? Who here wants to sometimes scream and shout something, but just knows that it's inappropriate to do? Because we're not toddlers anymore. And yet there are people who are standing on stages, speaking in mics and loudspeakers to thousands upon thousands of people, spreading hate, spreading lies, spreading words just to divide us, just to make us feel so isolated, make us feel so threatened that we would condone their violence, that we are violent to ourselves, that we would then admonish others who are not like us, even though we don't know them, that we find comfort in the symbols that are familiar to us and fear as soon as we see iconography, symbols that are of the other side. Guess what? There are no other sides. There are no other sides. My goodness, I need to wipe. Aha, perfect. It's all one. We are all here. Realizing and knowing, as Buddhism says, that life is full of suffering. Of course it is. We're here to find an alternative or a solution, or as Buddhism says, our purpose for life is to end the suffering. Sure. I don't, this is why I didn't like get more into Buddhism, although I probably should have because it gets better and better the deeper you go and the more you understand. That's definitely true. But our purpose in life is just to feel good. Once again, not in the druggy, oh, my life sucks and I just want to feel a bit of dopamine, right? The dopamine hit kind of way. That is false. That is a false, it's not even a false solution, it's an illusion. That is something that will just make you crave things more, that will make you feel weak. Well, when I say feel good, I mean something that resonates with your soul, something that makes you feel aligned to the purpose, something that makes you want to do the work because you know that the results are going to be good. There are things in life, there are tasks in life that we do that aren't the best tasks, but when we focus on the result of the task, how that makes us feel, okay, not actually just achieve it and yay, it's a good result. No, what it makes us feel, how we are going to be able to shift our identity and become the person we admire. Ooh, wow. I admire truth tellers. I admire people who are not willing to budge, who are not willing to censor themselves, who are freaking Fruity Loop crazy. There are some people I follow who literally say things that I cannot believe people would be bold enough to say, and certainly I would never do them. You know that we've all done some weird things in life that, like we probably shouldn't tell people we did. Like the kind of truth tellers I follow say that stuff. And along with that, they say a whole lot more that does resonate with me, and I don't unfollow them. I'm not as Fruity Loop crazy as they are, I don't think. Or maybe I am, or maybe I'll become that. Who knows? But this is just me saying one thing. It's time to operate as Rick Tamlin very rightly told me, but he sort of slapped me with this, right? He's one of my you can search up Rick Tamlin. He told me, he slapped me with this truth. He said, Nandini, you've got the goods. You just haven't given, like, you're not working on full permission mode. I don't know exactly how he worded it. I'm trying to word it exactly verbatim. The feeling of those words still rings inside me because it was like, oh shit, it's true. It's true. I'm just not allowing myself the permission to be who I want to be. That's it. That is it. That's the missing piece. I am not allowing myself. So who am I going to seek permission from? It's a sort of a weird thing because it's sort of like, am I not allowing myself the permission because I fear failure and rejection? But the weird thing is I'm already failing to honor my true self. I'm already rejecting my own truth by twisting myself in ways where I can still say what I want to say, but in an acceptable way, in a way that I perceive to be acceptable. This is about perception. My perception of your perception. My perception of your perception. Okay, so time to be brave. Time to change up the energy. Time to be raw and honest wherever you can be, right? Wherever you can be. And the more you are raw and honest, the more of that energy you create in the world. And that's how you change the world to be raw and honest again. I change the world through my energy. If I am raw and honest, people around me are going to feel more comfortable being raw and honest. And we're all like these ripples, right? So for me, if I start resonating the energy of raw honesty, of the no BS Nandini, like I'm going to just give it to you straight and I love you, but I don't love your BS. I'm here for you, but I'm not here for your excuses, right? If I start resonating with that energy and it affects someone, that person is going to start vibrating in a similar way and be like, "Ooh, I like this person. I like this no BS Nandini. You know what? I think I can do that too. I can be a little more honest." And then they start changing their energy and they impact their circles. And then those people impact the other circles. We are all interconnected. So, if that's the reason you need to be more like you, use it. Use it. Be safe. Be sensible. Don't live in a dream illusion world. Use the things, the symbols, the meanings, the motivation that you have to do things very, very practically, to do things safely. This world is not just a spiritual world, right? This world is not just frequencies. There are things that are very tangible. There are things that we can number and we can count. You've got to keep all of that within your awareness as you take action without um like this is what I mean by compromise, without compromising on the truth and without the truth of all the aspects of it, right? The truth of the physical aspect of it, the truth of the material reality aspect of it, the truth of, oh my gosh, if I say this to my friend, she might be hurt and then she may need some time to cool off or completely cut ties with me aspect of it, right? So, reality and the way we perceive reality, there's a connection there. So, always remember energy is the key. Energy is much, much, much more powerful than your intention. People are like, "Oh, but I said it with good intentions." Yeah, good intentions. But what was the energy there? Did you actually mean to be compassionate? That's the reason why I take the criticism I've taken from some of my coaches, like Rick Tamlin. He tells me things I've never heard anyone else tell me. And it like zonks me. Like it just goes bloop. Oh my gosh, it's an attack. It's an attack on my false self. And my false self doesn't just automatically fall away. It doesn't like it's not like a crust on me that falls away. It brings to my true self the awareness like, oh my gosh, I still have this shell right here. I still have it. And like as I'm trying to pry it and try to like get rid of it, it's sticky. It keeps sticking on. Why? Because it's familiar. It's this sticky, familiar thing. And it's like, no, I've been trying to protect this eye. I'm protecting this eye from all the dust. This world is so full of dust that dust can get in your eye. And I'm like, look, I know that's true, but guess what? This eye's working. I'm able to open and close it. And when I need to, I can cover it with my hand. But right now, I need this hand off of my eye. I need to be able to see with with both my eyes. I need to be able to tell the truth. I need to be able to see reality. I need to be able to experience something a little differently. And I'm just trying to remove it. And sometimes I succeed, but it's still there. Bits of it are still there. And I see the world a bit, and then like it gets scary, and I'm like, no, actually. I miss the comfort of this hand there. It just felt so comforting. Maybe I should close this eye too. It'll be nice just for a little while. And then boom, that's like the demotivation again, right? That's our familiar comfort zone. But I just want to let you know when you finally get to rip this hand off and you maintain that energy, And even if it comes back on a couple of times, to keep protecting your eye, or because it's a comforting, familiar thing to just have on your face like this, the longer that you spend with both your eyes open, the longer that you spend just being your true self, that too becomes very comfortable. And it is going to require you to change a lot of things, including your friends, including your habits, including your wardrobe, your dressing style, your food intake, your um, habits around your body movement. Maybe you're going to be stretching more, needing a little more exercise, or a little less exercise. Everything changes when you decide to change. You can't just decide to change one aspect of you with because nothing exists in isolation. That aspect is as it is because it is directly connected to you, your thoughts, feelings, habits, and your belief systems. We've got to bring the change from the deepest part of us, from the beliefs. But that is very hard to work on. Often we don't even know what our beliefs are. So just pay attention to first the actions. What are the actions you're doing? Are you just stuffing yourself full of chocolate? Okay, pause. Take a moment. Observe the action. You don't even have to change it, just observe it. When do you stuff yourself full of chocolate? Ah, is it when you're stressed? Is it just like, oh, I go for a walk, I come back home, I want something sugary, and I put chocolate into my mouth? Just observe it. Notice the pattern. Notice the feeling it gives you. See if you can generate that same feeling by replacing it. Sometimes you may be successful, sometimes you may not. And if you are successful, then boom, habit that you didn't want is now gone, right? But sometimes it sticks, and if it sticks, then that means there's a deeper layer to it. Anyway, this can be a whole masterclass. I've talked enough. I think I might have cried enough as well. Okay, this is no BS, Nandini. Gonna post this on the Figuring It Out Alive channel. It'll be nice to not stumble upon the name of my channel when I change it, but I'm gonna have to practice the name because I don't know if it's as difficult to say as Figuring It Out Alive, which is so hard for me to say easily. Um, anyway, my name is Nandini, and I would love to hear anything you have to say, whether it's positive, negative, doesn't really matter. It's all just energy. And I say this: I love you. I love the humanness in you. I want the best for you, and I want the best for me. And for me, this right now, I'm really comfortable with this. I'm really comfortable with this not being HD. I'm really comfortable with me not being in front of you with like my full face done. This is me as I am right now, perfectly as I am. Thank you for sharing this space. Thank you for listening to me. I love you very, very, very much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, Friday lives have now become Saturday lives every Saturday, usually in the evening. I come and I do a live video chat on YouTube. So feel free to, subscribe and do the notification thing to be alerted on that, and then we can interact live as well. See you then. Bye bye. Oh, stop.